Okay, and we are live. How are we doing, guys? I see a few of you already in here chatting away. And I've already got a thumbs up. Blimey. Good stuff. I've just got the kids to bed. Made myself a nice coffee with the Tassimo cappuccino. Love it. Yeah, I'm not just having the regular coffee today. I'm spoiling myself. Regular coffee today. I'm spoiling myself. Right. So yeah, it's a bit of a mad rush as usual. Metalhead Tribe says sup 6+. Ork 40k says hi. And the messages disappeared before I could get to the rest. So how is everybody doing? Get my stuff all sorted here. The trouble with scheduling these live ones. Guff Scrap, hello mate. Yeah, the trouble with scheduling these live videos is that I'm always late. Although I'm not actually, I haven't been late for the videos yet, but I'm always in a mad rush at the end to try to get everything set. And then I have no idea whether the children will sleep well, you know. So that's always a slight, have to check, double check, make sure they're all asleep before I get started. Just the other day, when I was shooting my 3rd edition Codex video, I wanted to get it all done and dusted by about 10 o'clock. My 2-year-old daughter, she had other ideas, and she decided she was going to stay awake for a long time. So I ended up getting it done about, it was past 1 in the morning by the time I'd got it all edited and stuff. So as I was just reading through some of your chat there, so we've already got 10 people in here. This video, I'm going to attempt something that I don't attempt very often, and that is a little bit of multitasking, because essentially I've kind of tried doing these videos when I'm sort of working on a project or something at the same time, and it never really works because I never get a lot done, because I end up getting distracted and chatting to the camera, which is probably where most of my attention is going to be. But today I am going to attempt to do hobby and chat and video at the same time and multitask. Does mean that I probably won't see a lot of your, well, I'll see them, but I probably won't get a chance to respond to all the messages. But I always watch these videos back later on. Once the live broadcast is finished, I generally watch them back later and watch all the comments and stuff come up as they did at the time, so I can see what you've all been saying. See if I've missed anything important. And it's always quite funny setting up a schedule for a live stream and then coming in and finding there's a whole group of people in there already, chatting away before you've even got there. Right. Oh, I can relax now. It's been a busy day. So, hobby-wise, what have I been up to? Well, built this bad boy, the Ork Dakar Tower from Cromlech, Tabletop Scenics, Cromlech. How many games have you guys played since 8th? I don't know, a lot. I've only had one game with the Ork Codex, but I've had lots of games with the Index. Probably about 12, I guess, which I suppose isn't really a lot, but probably slightly more than that actually. But yeah, there it is in all its glory. Let's do a little scale thing here for you. We've got a big mech with a shock attack gun there for you, just to sort of give you some idea of scale. It's fairly small, but a squad of 5 looters on top of there, no worries. And it's a Dakar bunker, so obviously there are rules to have stuff inside it shooting out the slits. But yeah, I've got big plans for this. what I plan to do with this bit of scenery and possibly some of the other ones I've got is I've just ordered online some LED lights, and they will glue up inside there somewhere. And these ones actually come with a little remote control, and you can change the color of them, and you can change whether they pulse or whether they flash, do all sorts of cool things. And you get I think it's about 10 of these LED bulbs, so hopefully I'll be able to use them on other bits of scenery and models and stuff as well. But you can control them all with a little mini remote control. So I just really like the idea. I'm going to get this all painted up, and I'm going to get it all sort of metal, rusty, grimy looking, and then I want sort of like an ominous red glow sort of coming from inside, maybe a pulsing sort of thing, and it'll be coming out the little slits in the doorways and stuff. And like I said, hopefully these other bits of Ork scenery I've got, I could do similar things with, because after Cromlech very nicely sent me that free of charge for review, I was so impressed with it. On Black Friday, I took advantage of their sale where they were doing 20% off, I think, and snapped up a couple of other items which will be featuring on the channel for unboxings and reviews very, very soon. First of which is this, the Ork Watchtower, which looks very cool and says is an easier build than that, which I was surprised actually. I thought it looked a little bit more complicated to build, but I think the parts of that were the most complex weren't really complex, just you had to make sure you got them in the right order, or else it would really screw everything up, is kind of getting the walls and the floor all attached. Whereas this doesn't have a roof as such, it's just platforms. So I think it will be a fairly simple build. I imagine you'll just build the sort of structure, lay the floor on, and then it will just be accessorizing with all the bits and pieces on there. But yeah, loving the look of the Ork Watchtower. It's tall as well. Height is 23 centimeters. Let's just see what that is. 23 centimeters. Yeah, it's pretty tall, man. Let's just move the camera down there. You can see. That's about the size of my Gorkanaut. So it's quite a tall piece of scenery. 15 width. Yeah, takes up about the same sort of size footprint as that, but a lot taller. So that's really cool. I'm loving the look of this. I can't wait to get these open. I'm just saving them for when I do the videos, but they'll probably be the two next videos I do will be unboxing and reviewing and building this. And then the next one is one that I wanted ever since I did the giveaway. And as soon as I sort of had it in my hands and it was teasing me, I'm like, I've got to buy me one of these. The Ork Barracks. I really, really like the look of this bit of scenery. It looks very, very cool. And this one also says it's fairly difficult to build somewhere. I think, yeah, moderate difficulty, which was the same as that one. So, and I've heard from the guy that won this, and he sort of said to me that it is quite complicated, quite a difficult build. But I managed okay with that. A couple of little errors along the way, but managed to fix them. So I learned quite a lot building that one. So I think these two will be quite a bit easier now. I've got a taste of building them. But yeah, so there we go, guys. There's two sneak peeks there for you at future unboxing and review videos. So I've got plans for the Dapper bunker to get some lights in it, to get these two built, get all three painted up. And then my Ork scenery, my whole board and terrain will be completely done because I've got all the mountains and stuff that I've already made. You can go back through and check one of my older videos if you want to see them. So I've got all this sort of natural scenery set, but it's just sort of a barren, you know, it's just a desert scape with cliffs and sort of plateaus and stuff. There's no actual sort of signs of life and stuff in it. So what I've always envisioned for my Orks, having like a home base out in the desert, and these buildings got this sort of very Mad Maxy kind of outposty theme. So I really like the look of this stuff, and who knows, in the future I might get more. So yeah, that's what I'm up to there. And then now, a lot of people are talking with the MDF kits about how you prime them. And you seem to, when you Google it and look for advice, because I wanted to make sure I was doing it right before I set about painting. There was a lot of different opinions. Some people say to sort of seal it first with like a PVA mix or something. Some people say you've got to use a certain type of primer, and that the wood's very absorbent. So if you paint and stuff, certain types of paint, it will just absorb the paint, and you know, it won't look very good. So I wanted to check. I got in contact with Tabletop Scenics over Facebook and asked them what's the best way to prime it, and they said just with an acrylic primer. So just like they said, what you know, the same spray you'd spray your models with. So I was like, cool. If that's from the guys themselves saying that, then that's got to be okay. Are we having a bit of a clan war in the comments section there? It looks like some good-natured clan banter going on. I saw mention of evil sons and goths. Yeah, well, you're all wrong because it's bad moons all the way, because none of the rest of you have got Dakar to match ours. Oi, Stevo, how you been, Gitface? Yeah, I'm all right. I was all right until I got called Gitface. James Whitmore, ha ha ha. What was I saying? Oh yes, about priming and spraying these terrain pieces. So I went out today because I needed to get some more glue. Got some of this Gorilla Wood glue, and again, I'm going against the grain here, because on a lot of the, when I googled like the best type of glue to use, a lot of people are saying do not use Gorilla Glue. They're saying it sort of fucks up and it looks horrible and that, but I found it works really well, actually a bit too well. You don't, it's almost like super glue. Once you glue the bits together, you've got a bit of time to move, but then once that is stuck, it is stuck. You ain't moving that without damaging the wood. So I think that's maybe one of the big reasons why people advise against Gorilla Glue. But if you sort of measure twice, cut once, kind of analogy there, if you're just careful, take your time with it, and only use a small amount, make sure it doesn't all blob out and stuff, and have a little cloth side to wipe off the excess that, you know, when you squeeze bits together and you get that glue, get ready to wipe all that off. But I mean, you can see it's clean, it's tidy, it's all held together with Gorilla Glue, so it's really, it's a sturdy piece of kit, but highly detailed, and I'm looking forward to getting them painted. So yeah, also today, as well as getting the glue, I've got some primers, because I wanted to make sure. So I got this one, Rust-Oleum Surface Primer, a quick drying primer designed to provide a tight bond for spray painting on bare or painted wood, metal and ceramics. So I thought I'd get that. I was trying to find one in black. They didn't have it in black. They had it in grey, brown and white, but I really like painting on a black undercoat, so I was a bit gutted that I got grey, but it's only a primer. So I thought, well, I can prime it with this and then prime with my black spray over the top of that, and this will give the, you know, this will prime it properly, and then I can colour it black afterwards with spray. And then I also got a metal spray, just a cheap one from the hardware store, just to spray these all over metallic. And because the idea of these, I want them all sort of just metal, and then I'm going to blob on ink and sponge in rust spots and oil leaks, and, you know, just make it look grimy and covered in bullet holes and stuff, and just good scrap rusted metal. And I'll pick a few bits out in sort of brassy tones and bits as well, so there's some variety in the metal there, but predominantly it'll just be sprayed silver. So I decided to, and this is a good tip for anyone building MDF kits, I decided to test these sprays out when I got home. And it's been peeing it down with rain most of the day, so I had to sort of stand at the front door sort of spraying out a bit, and I just wanted to do some tests. So the great way you can test actually painting and spraying your MDF kits is keep your sprues. Perfect way to test out whether the paint's going to work and how it's going to adhere, and, you know, you can leave it for a while, see how it sort of absorbs in and see if it works. So I did a couple of test runs. I sprayed first with the black. There's a little speckles of silver on there, just ignore that, but I sprayed just with the black, and this is Pound Shop Special Automotive Spray, and this is exactly the same stuff as what you get with like GW or, you know, any of them expensive brands. But this is £1, and trust me, I spray all my models with this. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. Make sure you get the matte black one though, not the gloss black. But yeah, so I picked up quite a few of these in Poundland. So I sprayed with that, and I was happy with it. I thought, yeah, it does like they said. It covers it just like it would with a model. I think you would need sort of 2 coats of it, and that's only a very thin coat, but you can see it's good, really good coverage. And it hasn't really absorbed in at all. In fact, I'm looking at it now, it looks better than it did when I first did it. But then I did the grey primer as well, and I must admit, actually, a much better coverage, and I can feel the sort of smoothness to that as well. It's given a really nice smooth coat on there of the grey primer. And then, so what I did after that is over the top of the grey primer on the other side, I sprayed black over it. And again, it just looks a little bit better, but I would definitely say you don't need a special primer. You can just use your bog standard primer and it'll look fine. But I think since I bought it now, I probably will prime them all grey first, and it'll probably just maybe give a slightly better finish and coverage. And then over the black as well, I sprayed the silver just to see what that would look like. So that's silver sprayed over black, and then that's the grey primer, the black, and then the silver on top. And as you can see, it's a real good coverage. So yeah, so had a little test around there and very happy. I think these are going to look pretty darn good. What I probably will do is sort of spray them all black, and then maybe spray the silver at angles and that. So I'd like to try and keep some of the black, darker sort of shadows in the recesses and stuff. So maybe give it sort of a light dusting from the top or something like that. I haven't really figured it out yet. Stevo, you should update the channel info with a business email. I was talking to you about terrain and some models for giveaways. Change the YouTube name to my voice. Yeah, I probably do need to look through the channel. I'm pretty sure my business email is on there. It should be visible to everyone if you look in the About section. And if not, it's 6+. That's written in words, not the number and the plus symbol, like actually SIXPLUS. So 6plusstevo@gmail.com. So you can message me via the email if you want to. So that's it, scenery wise. The other project I've got going on at the moment is still, move this out of the way a bit, there we are, the Mek Gunz. So I've got 3 of them at the moment, one of them currently in pieces. But yes, I do need to finish these because I am planning to use these for my upcoming game just in a few days with Idic Beer. And it's bad enough that I'm going to be playing that game with mostly unpainted models, but I do not want to turn up at Idic's place ready for a game with models that are merely blue tacked together, as I did in my game with Reroll Joe, because that's probably just taking things a little bit too far. But I do that sometimes if I'm not quite ready for a game, the model that I've just bought or something is not quite ready. I will sort of sometimes get my old trusty friend Blue Tack to the rescue and glue some bits together. It might be on the computer but not on mobile. Oh, okay, I shall have a look for that. I'll have a look at rejigging that about a bit and get the information. I do need to go through that. I had a little bit of an update on the channel the other day. I went through and sort of tidied up the playlists a bit and restructured them and reordered them. I'm still not quite happy with it yet. I want to tweak things a little bit and try and make the stuff accessible and findable as possible. So I think playlists and stuff are quite important as well. And your homepage is quite important, because if people do like what they see with a video, and they might click on your page to look through more videos, and a lot of the videos, certainly things like tactics and a lot of discussion ones and stuff, could still be watched years from now and probably still be relevant. So it's I think those videos are quite long term, and even though it was uploaded 6 months ago or whatever, a lot of the information on there should still be very relevant and helpful. I do it on a lot of the channels I like. Especially if I discover a new channel that I really like, and the videos that come up, I will go back through their back catalogue and search out videos that they've done quite a while ago and find some good stuff there. So let's have a look at what we're doing. Let's actually try, because I said I was going to multitask, so I am actually going to try and multitask. Sort this camera out a bit. There we go, get the stand sorted. There we go. And I think you can all see it. So we've got this one, which is the bog standard Mek gun. I just haven't glued the gun in place because, well, for ease of painting and stuff, when it comes around to that, I want to be able to get in there and paint it easily. And also, I think the wheels falling off. I haven't glued the wheels for the same reason. I can paint them separate and then pop them on. So I am doing these in sort of sub-assemblies. So that's, yeah, the bog standard Mek gun. And the other ones I am in the middle of converting. And so I've got this one at the moment, which is mostly, well, actually, this is all from the same kit. But I just sort of left some bits off. But I think, actually, I was going to leave these armor plates off just to make it look different, but I think maybe it looks just a little bit too weedy without them. But I am going to miss off the front plate, just again, so it looks a bit different. I don't want them all looking too uniform and too much the same. And I'll also use a different armor plate for the lookout spot. That's the one I used on the other one, but I'll use the other one to get a choice of 2 different doors in there. And then I've also got one that's in pieces currently, because I'm in the middle of doing this one, which I think, if I remember correctly, goes together something like that. Well, that doesn't feel right to me. What am I missing there? I'm sure it did go on like that. Trouble is, I glued these together and then pulled it all apart, and now I can't remember what my original design was. Yeah, I'm sure that definitely went on that bit. I also remember, I think, turning the wheel axles upside down. I actually can't remember now how I put this thing together. Ah, I think that was it. Used it the other way around. Yes. There we go. So it'll go something like that. Yeah, I've got to sort of, that's what I mean. This is why these conversions are taking the, take time just lining everything up, making sure you're happy with the way it all goes together. And this engine part, I'm sort of playing on this one to power the gun. So the gun sort of goes on there. And where's the actual custom mega cannon bit? So I've got the kill cannon, or the cannon from the battle wagon set, which I've filed down some of the rivets so I can get this bit around it. And that's gonna go on there like that, and then that will then mount onto there, and the engine will be on there powering it. Okay, so I think that's how the engine went on. Yeah, as you can see, it's quite tricky. So I've got to try and trouble is as well when you leave projects you're working on for so long and you come back to them, you have to sort of go, right, what was I doing again? Kind of remind yourself. So just adjust the camera back up there, because that way I can see what you guys are saying. So I'm going to carry on cleaning some of these bits up. I need my file. I need my glue, which I'm starting to get through now. I need to get some more of this. Liquid poly, Humbrol. This is the glue for when you're working on plastic. Trust me, it's really, really good. And the best thing about it is, it doesn't come in one of these bloody bottles where the pin always clogs up and then you've got to stick something down it or light it to try and unblock it. And then once it blocks once, it just keeps blocking. It's not bad glue, but typical Bad Moon. Reinventing the wheel then. Damn, that's a shiny ring. I take it you're talking about this. But yeah, typical Bad Moon. We like the bling, you know. It's all about the bling, baby. I think that's probably why I chose Bad Moons. And I love even some of the Ork models where they've got the lip piercings and stuff. And yeah, like kindred spirits, really. Anything with this glue, because it's a screw-on lid. That was close. Make sure you don't bloody spill it. Right, so let's finish getting this gun together. So I've already glued the actual gun part itself together, although I missed a fairly substantial bit of mould line there. I hate mould lines. Definitely my worst part of the hobby. That's another reason what's great about those MDF kits. They're very easy to well, you don't get mould lines obviously because they're not moulded, they're wood, but on the sprue they're just sort of laser cut out, but then there's just tiny little bit where it's still attached. You just snap it off that bit and then you just got to file that little sort of nub down, and that's very quick and easy. So you can just get straight on with the fun part of actually getting it all built and glued together. And that's probably my favourite part of the hobby, is the building. Yeah, I like the building. I don't see the building of a model as a chore. Even the painting, somewhat, to me, is a bit of a chore sometimes. Sometimes I really enjoy the paintings. Sometimes I do find it a bit of a, oh, it's just not going quick enough. And you should try mould lines on my bolt action minis I'm doing now. Ouch. Yeah, I suppose they're quite sort of old school kits, aren't they? I've never really messed around with sort of World War II stuff since I was like in school, and we get like the Airfix tank kits and Spitfire kits and things. And back then it never even dawned on me to try and remove mould lines and things like that. Let's check. So just check it over this Mek Gun bit, make sure I've removed mould lines on this. No, I can see a bit on that one that I've not done. I'll find my mould line remover. These Mek Guns, they're not too bad for mould lines. Most of the mould lines aren't in awkward positions. On this gun it is a little bit, because you've got a mould line running right along the cable. It's not too bad. It's quite easy to remove. Plasma gun mould lines, they're one of the worst. Building is great. Kit bashing is why I got into orks. I think that's true of a lot of us. If you're an ork player, you've got to kit bash at least a bit. You know, makes it hard when you're starting out though, because you don't have the benefit of that sort of big bits box. I think the best way sometimes, if you had the money and you wanted to start orks, is just buy loads of sets, like the whole range, and just have them all clipped off the sprue in a big old bucket and just go at it. And that would be very fun, actually, just seeing what madcap creations you could come up with. I've got sort of a plan in mind for my big mech that I'm going to create to lead my army. I've chosen his war gear and shiny gubbins and whatnot, warlord trait and everything. So now I want to make the model around that. And I've got the idea of, because I want to choose the Bad Moon shiny gubbins, the Thunderbus, the big sort of blunderbuss type weapon. And I really like the idea of using one of these Grotzukas to represent the blunderbuss. So here's a big mech that I've got currently with the custom Mega Blaster, but yeah, just sort of replacing that. I mean, it's hard to do because the arm's there, but yeah, basically cut off the arm, have him sort of probably be cybernetic, so his arm will actually be built into it. I'll slice it off maybe, rather than have a handle, because it's already big. I don't want to add to the size of this already, otherwise it would be, I know people say you can't go too big with orcs and you can't go too crazy, but I've seen conversions and stuff where people put things, and I just think you can go so big that it's orky, and then you go over the top that it just looks ridiculous and unwieldy. And just seen some sort of people doing things like looters and stuff converted, but they've got like the barrels from like a Predator tank for their gun, and it's just, that just looks ridiculous to me. But I think that's just about at the scale where it's kind of ludicrously big, but not so big that it's not believable. So yeah, I'm doing a bit of a kit bash on him. There won't be much, well, nothing of it will be scratch built. It's just going to be a real kit bash conversion. I want to use one of the heads from the knobs kit to represent him, and I'll probably accessorize him up a little bit and just sort of, yeah, I want to try and get a bit of a good pose out of him and make him look quite imposing. And he's going to be a bit of a tank, put it that way. Big mechs, they're not so hot in combat, certainly when you compare them to war bosses. But and that was the original plan, actually, to have him be a war boss. I didn't want the leader of my army to be a big mech. I envisioned a war boss in mega armor, but that option's gone to us now. Which just does it just, I know we can get it in the index, but it's not in the codex, so I'm trying to go pure codex. And it just sucks that we've lost that. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't have minded losing it if they gave us Nazdreg, and that would be cool. I would love to see a modern interpretation from GW of Nazdreg in his mega armor with his big custom shooter, and I think they could make something really good there. Because us Bad Moon players, we don't actually have any named characters we can use. We can create a warlord or boss and base it on that, which is kind of what I'm doing with my warlord. Kind of taking inspiration from Nazdreg, just decked out in the best armor, sporting the best weaponry, and just, yeah, being like that. And that's the kind of inspiration for my Bad Moon warlord. But I kind of find it strange, like having the warlord as anything other than a war boss, especially if you've still got a war boss in the army as well, because I'm going to have to sort of develop some kind of backstory to why he's in charge and the war boss isn't in charge. Does you want a prime orc size Nazdreg? Do you know, I wouldn't mind whether he was prime orc would be cool. I think prime orc, if any orc's going to be prime orc, would be Ghazghkull. But I think running closely second place would be Nazdreg, because he's equally formidable. He's just not as focused as Ghazghkull. Ghazghkull's really focused on leading the largest war the galaxy's ever seen and conquering it all and just destroying everything, which is cool as hell. Nazdreg is a typical Bad Moon. He wants loot, he wants money, and he wants chance to show off and show why him and his war and his mob are the best. And so he's not going to just purely go out to conquer. You know, he's not on a mission from the gods like Ghazghkull. He's pure self-interest. But he's worked with Ghazghkull. He provided all the sort of teleporter technology and stuff. There's so much in the new codex that pays homage to Nazdreg. I mean, that teleport stratagem, that is Nazdreg and his big mechs, like, you know, invention that they invented for Ghazghkull during I think the war on Armageddon, or one of the wars on Armageddon. And yeah, there's just some cool. It would be cool to get some new characters or returning old characters or both for the Orks, because we just over the years, slowly bit by bit, we've lost characters. I think the only character we ever gained in recent years was Face Ripper, Gruck Face Ripper, who was a cool character who I really liked. And yeah, he's gone now. The model still exists, but now he's just named a war boss. He's named different things depending on what kit you buy him. And if you buy him for Kill Team, he's called something else completely. I don't know. I think they wasted his story. I would have liked Gruck Face Ripper's storyline to sort of veer on how he had heard of Ghazghkull and his big war, and I would like to have seen him as a rival to Ghazghkull, a competitor, a worthy competitor, because he had the temperament for it, certainly. And yeah, so I think that would have been good fluff wise to have a sort of two rival Goth war bosses, and Gruck Face Ripper always sort of basically getting pissed off that all the Orks talk about Ghazghkull in this way, and he's, you know, as far as he's concerned, he's the hardest war boss in the galaxy, and so he sees Ghazghkull as the perfect, worthy opponent. It's just my idea anyway. But right, let's glue this bit together. I've got the two sort of bits there, and you can see just where there's a gap. So I'm going to connect that up, maybe with a bit of sprue or something. Find some sort of I've got a bit of plastic rod actually. I could maybe, just so it connects, but it's not quite flat enough there to line up either. That's the trouble. Where's my file? The big file. So what? So Tony Merritt came in late. What's going on? Hey Steve, who do you buy your backy from? I don't think you'll know them. Actually, my recent backy is a shop bought backy. I haven't been able to get any duty free lately. I don't think you're local, are you? I have a couple of sources I can occasionally get it cheap from, but that happens less and less these days. I've heard as well, because quite often, especially on these live videos, I tend to smoke on the videos, and I've heard people sort of advise me not to do that because they said sometimes it can be flagged by YouTube or something. I don't know if that's true. I've never had anything come from it. I've never had anyone comment negatively. I tend to smoke because it relaxes me and stuff in an evening, and especially when I do the live videos. I stopped doing it now on my pre-recorded videos because it is a bit unprofessional, even for me, to do that. So I tend to keep them smoke-free zones. But on my live videos, I like to have sort of a relaxed atmosphere. So before I start filming, I always have a cigarette, have a coffee ready. You're probably too small for YouTube to worry about for now, Steve. Yeah, that's true. I am one of the small fry. But it's certainly something I should, if it is something that could affect my videos in the future, if and when I get bigger, yeah, I probably need to look at that. I don't know how I could do long videos though without having a smoke. I'd get restless. I'd get itchy. Just, you know. Okay. Right, that should do. Let's get that glued in place. This is one of these awkward bits now where I've got 3 different bits to glue together at once. So what are you guys working on currently? Are you working on a project now while I film this, while you watch or listen? I'd be interested to hear what conversions or kits you're building currently. I expect a lot of you are building the a lot of you is probably still building the new stuff. You could smoke from a pipe with a stick holding a black piece of paper, like so. So I'm painting my Scar Boys. Cool. my shooters and savage sluggers and a truck. Cool. Savage sluggers. I like that. So are you using the savage orks and adding sluggers to make some sort of snakebite boys there, are you? Planning a war boss for my snakebites. Cool. But there's another, the savage orc war boss is a good starting point. Or maybe a conversion from like an ogre or something. Be very cool for snakebites. Yeah, but I'm painting grots worth taking now. Yes, they definitely are. Grots are awesome. Grots are the best, cheapest way to farm command points and for area denial against the enemy, trying to deep strike. Just get lots of grots, fill out them troop slots, get them spread out across the board to deny bits, and yeah, they won't achieve much in game terms in terms of kills, but they're so worth it. Tactically, grots are brilliant. It surprises me actually how many orc players really just overlook grots. Because I think a lot of people look at units and across all armies in a very one-dimensional sense, and it's quite you'll tend to read the data sheet, you'll look at the stats, you'll see what weapons they've got, the special rules and stuff, and you'll make your decision based on that. And generally, most people start with, you know, is it good? Is it powerful? Is it going to kill stuff? Is it going to survive? And that's where a lot of players make the mistake of just stopping in their army list building. Can it withstand a lot of punishment, and can it dish out a lot of punishment? You know, is it strong? Is it tough? And that's all they really look at. And they don't take into account other things like speed. Fast units are important. Getting to where you want on the tabletop, being able to grab an objective late on in the game, being able to, because a lot of games are won during the movement phase, getting units where you want them to be in range of other units and ready to charge, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's one aspect I think a lot of people overlook. Another aspect is in the chaff units. There are some players out there that just will not take weak units. They'll look at a unit like Grots and be like, well, no, what are they going to do? But I've said it before and I say it again, I have won several games because of my Grots. Depending on what type of mission you're playing. If you're playing objective missions, Grots can they're just a great unit that just sit there and get ignored holding an objective, especially if you're scoring points each round. Grots are incredible at things like that because they do get ignored. And now with the stratagems like Grot Shield, and they can actually be surprisingly, like the rule says, surprisingly dangerous in large numbers, because they gain the Daka rule. They don't gain the clan cultures abilities, but having Grots hitting on 4s and then with exploding 6s makes them quite nice. I mean, their weapons are only strength 3, so you know, against anything Space Marine equivalent, they're going to do very little damage. But you know, all those hits, a few of those 5+ers are going to get through. And then you've got to worry about the armor. So yeah, their main role is definitely not in combat, but they have so many other uses. And every faction, to a greater or lesser degree, has these type of units that on paper you look at and they don't look like they're going to achieve a lot. But you have to look at the bigger picture, and you have to look at objective grabbing, area denial, distraction units, tar pit units, and just, yeah, there's so many different assets to the game and stuff, and too many players just come at it from, I need the most killy thing possible, and that's how I'm going to win the game. And then they just get outthought and outplayed tactically, and their opponent has full board control, can take objectives, can deny them trying to deep strike in, and just give them too many bodies to kill that they just can't do it. And so yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of elitist players out there that probably don't look at the extra hidden depth and the ways you can use units and get the best out of units that might not on paper seem very good. And some units as well, very much so, like their stats will appear quite weak and their weapons appear quite weak, but then you read their special rules and a unit like, I think a perfect scenario of this is the Mechanicus stuff that I've just sort of had a little bit of experience with in Kill Team. And on paper, they don't look like much. They're guardsman stats, essentially, with a bit better armor and stuff, and their weapons seem okay, you know. But then you read the special rules, and it's lots of sort of exploding sixes, and sixes do extra damage or give extra AP or mortal wounds and stuff. And then suddenly, these sort of fairly weak infantry units you weren't that bothered about pose a serious threat and pack some serious dakka, and can take you by surprise. Right, so the guns glued together there anyway. There is a tiny little bit of a gap there, but I think once it's all painted up and stuff, that's not going to be noticeable. But I think that works quite well. So I've just got to attach that middle bit and then sort of mount it onto the sprue of the truck. So I'm kind of, at the moment, thinking like this. Let's see that. Like that. I think that's how I had it. Probably need to do another bit of a dry blue tack run. So sorry guys, I know a lot of you were chatting away there as well, telling me what else you're up to, and I went off on a bit of a tangent talking about army list selection. So is anyone out there, we've got Christmas coming up as well. Does anyone have any 40k goodness? Underdog painting, what up peeps? A bit late, as long as you don't promote smoking, you should be all clear-ish. Okay. Yes, smoking's bad, kids. It's very, very bad for you. I did give up for a long time. Secret Santa at GW. And turning Warglaves into Death Dreads. What are Warglaves? I know the name, Warglaves, Warglaves. Someone in the comments section, please help me out there. I'll probably kick myself once you say. It sounds elderish. Baby Titans. Oh, of course, yes. The Warglaive, the Mechanicus, Armigers. Boom, that's it. Yes. Yes, I know what you mean. They're cool. You turn them into Death Dreads. Very cool. I had, I'm going to get my daughter to tell me she choose Dark Angels, but not to worry. Cool. That's cool that you're getting the kids involved. Hopefully she really gets into it and likes it. It's a good way to, I think it's a great hobby for kids to be into as well. They learn so much. You think what they're learning through a hobby, they're sort of getting their art and crafts sort of side of things out by building and painting and stuff. But they're also, you're working on things like mathematics and stuff. When you're building your list and you're adding all the points, you know, and you're reading and stuff, you're going to have to be reading all this stuff and thinking up strategies. It's really causing you to use your mind. So I think it's a really, really good educational hobby to get into for kids, actually. Yeah, I think it's a cool hobby for kids to get into. So yeah, those Armiger Warglaves, I had 2 of them from the Forgebane set, but I was low on funds at the time, and so I bought that set without the ability to really be able to afford it. But the reason I was able to warrant buying it is because I wanted the Necron stuff, but I didn't want the Mechanicus stuff. So I bought the set and then took all the Mechanicus stuff and sold that on eBay to reimburse sort of, I don't know, about 40% of the value of the set. So ended up getting the Necron army very cheap with a few extra bits in that from the Forgebane. So that was cool. But looking at those Armiger sets, I was so tempted to keep at least one of them, because I had a bit of an idea in my head at converting one into a mecha dread. Because I've seen the Forge World mecha dread, which looks cool, which it can have like the custom force field and stuff. So I was going to use that from the Morkanaut on it and use some of the Death Dread arms and things and replace bits on it, and maybe like the face from the Gorkanaut thing and put it on. Yeah, it looked like it had a lot of potential actually, because it's obviously a larger scale than a Death Dread, and I thought it was just about the right scale, depending how I converted it, to make it into a really cool mecha dread. But I really did need to sell the stuff to get the money back at the time, because I couldn't afford it. So I was spending money I didn't have at the time, so I had to sell that on eBay and yeah, use that money to put back into the bank and keep the missus off my back. But yeah, armigers, and a lot of the mechanical sort of components of it, I think, would lend itself very well to orcs as well. I don't think it would take a whole lot to make it look orky. And yeah, I mean, maybe I'll get one again in the future. I imagine because Forgebane is still being sold, that you've probably still got people selling them off, breaking the kit down and selling them off quite cheap. And plus they come in as their own kit now that you can buy with a few extra weapon options and stuff. But it's something to put aside for later, because right now I currently have a lot of projects that I'm working on. Like I say, I'm working on these Mek Gunz. Don't know if I'm going to get it done in time, because like I said, the progress during this video has been very slow. I think I'm going to need to cut the toe bit out of this truck so that I can fit the gun on there, because that will slot in there just right if I snip that bit out, I think. So yeah, let's cut that bit out of it. Clippers. Looted SOB counts as grots. Don't understand that. I wasn't reading all the messages. Cool. There we go. Right, take that bit out. Had me nervous, thought you were going to reach for a Stanley blade. No, I did. I used the Stanley blade the other day on this when I glued that face bit on before the bit that went behind it. But I was so careful. And whenever I do still use Stanley blades, but I am so careful because I never want to go through that again. I'm still going through it now because this sand is still hurting. It's still not right. And I don't know if it ever will be, actually. And you'd be surprised at just how much it does affect your grip on stuff and that when your little finger doesn't work properly or you don't have proper feeling in it. Right, let's see how that. So yeah, I'm trying to. All that. Ah, yeah. I might need to just shave that down just a tad so that fits in there. Yeah, but that is basically there. That is going to look good. So I reckon if I just file this back bit down a bit more, I need to shave about 1/2 mil off that bit just so it slots in there and it will give it some good sturdiness. Whenever I'm converting things and stuff, I don't just want it to look cool. I want it to be as solid and stable as a kit that you would buy that's all obviously put together well. I don't want it to be fragile and always falling apart on me and bits not, you know, adhering properly because of the... Yeah, that almost slots in there. It just still needs a tiny bit more shaved off it. Knowing Pain Boys, I don't think they'll settle with a power claw. Yeah, Ork's ramshackle stuff is dead sturdy. Well, you know what I mean. Not sturdy in the sense of it's well built in game terms, but the model itself is well built, if that makes sense. So the model is sturdy, but it will still look like it's cobbled together, and you know, you just pull one nut out of it and it'll all fall apart. Dreadwar Gaming, late to the party again. It's good that you're here anyway, mate. I put a knife through the joint of my thumb when I was a kid. I'm really lucky that it was pretty much healed fine, but it still feels like it clicks when I bend all these years later. Yeah, these Stanley blades, man, they're not to be fucked with. They can, especially when you start slicing through tendons and nerves and stuff, that is, it's serious stuff. And it heals slow. And there's no guarantee that it will, you know, ever heal up properly. And it's been a wake-up call for me, actually, because feeling just now like feeling like that's hurting, and feeling weird. But imagine these people that have like limbs severed and then reattached, and then they get full feeling and movement. That must take forever, and the pain from that, I can't even begin to imagine what that would feel like. Because the pain from that after my operation, that woke me up in the night once the painkillers had worn off, and it was painful, like seriously painful. And that was just my little finger. This is fun, isn't it? Just watching me file away here. It looks like I'm filing my nails, actually, doesn't it? Someone's going to tune in and think this is some kind of makeup tips video or something. Not with this face, I don't think. Well, they still might think it is. They might just think it's a massively unsuccessful one. Right, here we go. Oh, that's starting to get in there now. And this is the difficulty when you're getting parts that aren't designed to join together and you're trying to make them join together. Well, it's in there now, but I still need to shave it down because it's literally about to pop out. But there we go. And then that will, hopefully it will fit. Glue in there like so. Let's do it with the wheels. I want to make sure this all fits and looks right. That's awkward. Okay, I'm going to have a think about this, how I'm going to attach them. Right. I had the wheels positioned lower, but it's kind of affecting where the armor plating. So I want the, as you can see, I want the sort of the plate to sort of curve around so it looks like it goes on there right. I don't want too much of a gap between. And also gives a really nice elevation to the gun when it's like that. And I think it will make it more sturdy and it will stand up better like that. So yeah, I've got the bits somewhere, the original bits from that might connect on there. So I might see if I can do something there. So what else have I got to talk about? So I've got my list. Been making my list for Idic Beer's game. I think I've got a good list there. 2,000 points we're playing. Got no idea what he's going to bring. He's got no idea what I'm going to bring. I just basically made a list and I just put in a lot of my favourite units and stuff that I really wanted and tried to keep it Bad Moon themed, put it that way, and sort of predominantly a dread mob I'm going for the simple reason that I think they're cool. Sometimes I build a list with sort of a strategy in mind. Other times I just build a list and then work the strategy out after the list. And that's definitely what I've done this time. And when you don't really know what you're going to be facing as well, you can kind of, your strategy could change quite drastically once you see what your opponent puts on the table. But win or lose, that game's just going to be fun anyway. Right, I'm having a look now because I need somewhere. I've got it. The sprues for the Mek Gunz to find 2 bits that I need. So a big old pile of sprues here. I picked that up the other day off eBay, nice and cheap. Just some goblin shields. But the reason I got it is because of them Bad Moon glyphs that go on the shields. So I'm going to decorate those on some of my vehicles and stuff. Tabletop painter, hey buddy. And Tony Marcus asked about tractor cannons. No, that's a Mega Knob sprue. That's a Mega Knob sprue. That's a Mega Knob sprue. As is that. As is that. As is that. Here we are. Mek Gunz sprues. Right, let's get them other ones out of the way. Yeah, them glyphs are cool. Yeah, real cheap to get as well. Actually, it cost me a couple of quid. But yeah, they just look cool. For Bad Moons, it's great because the night goblins and stuff obviously have the same symbol and logo and stuff, so there's lots of parts you can rob from those kits. Right, what's the bit I'm looking for? I'm looking for the 2 arms that connect the armor plating to the chassis. And I'm trying to find whether, I don't think I already clipped them off because I wasn't intending to use, there they are. Right, so I'm going to clip these off and just try it out basically. You a mouse space iguana. Don't forget to use them glyphs. Yeah, Dreadwhite, I definitely won't. I think a lot of those are going to be going on my scenery to add some Bad Moon glyphs and stuff to these MDF kits I'm going to be building. And then also I'll save some more for when I start creating whatever battle wagon / kill tank, whatever, you know, future conversions in mind. Because I see my Bad Moon warlord, my big mech, that he would like to have a good vehicle to be the sort of the centerpiece of the army and to ride in battle in style. So I want something very cool, very flash. Right, this could work. Where's my blue tack? Very good. They'll work well with the tabletop scenic stuff for sure. Yes, I agree. They will. Definitely will. I'll show you actually what tabletop scenic sent me because I bought those 2 items as well. They're quite cool. I sent a little freebie, a little free sample. It comes with some cool little glyphs and bits on. I love it when companies, you get little bonus bits in there. As you can see there, got some Ultramarine logos, some Chaos stars, skulls. It is 40k, Imperium signals, and then you got a nice Bad Moon logo. Yeah, a couple of cool bits there. Nice little mech symbol there. So yeah, that's very cool. Well, I was well chuffed to find that in the kit. Again, you can just accessorize. Some of these will make great boss poles for your knobs and war boss, whatever. Or, like I say, just stick them onto vehicles, stick them onto your scenery. So that's very cool. Right, let's see if I can get this plate to sort of attach the way I see it in my mind. I never really work with green stuff, and I've done a tiny bit of work with plastic art, but I want to do more. But I need to just sort of have a bit more of a practice with it, really. I've used plastic art for just sort of little more than sort of filling gaps and things, really, and just covering over bits and getting. But I can see the potential for how you can make things, and some of it's quite simple as well. Like even things like cutting out like a square of plastic card, and then from a little plastic card rod, slicing up little bits, gluing them around it so it looks like rivets, and there you go. You've got armor plating, and then just with your blade, carefully, just scratch into the corners and the edges to rough it up, carve in a few little bullet holes and stuff, and there you go. You've got bits of armor plating that you can stick over bits of terrain or like a looted space marine tank, things like that. Right, let's see if that will attach there. It could attach like that actually, but I don't know. Yeah, see, that's too high. Doesn't look right. Oh. Ah, I see. Okay. I think we'll go with that though. Oh, I don't know. Tricky decisions. Chatty boys, any tips on scratch building a scorcher or 4? Scratch building or converting? Because converting, there's loads of ways you can do scorchers. You get, like, for example, in the Mega Knobs set, comes with parts to make your custom shooters into combi scorchers. And if you don't use those on those could just be attached onto guns and stuff. And, you know, you could use them to create scorchers. You also get the scorchers with the killer cans that you can use. Converted, you can use heavy flamer from any army tabletop painter says. Yeah, of course, they could be looted. They can just loot flamers. There's all sorts of ways you can do it. So many different ways. That's the point. So yeah, that's the idea. I kind of want to use the engine mounting that looks like it's sort of powering the gun. Yeah, I'm just trying to get it all to fit right and look right. Ah, there we are. That's connected better now. So yeah, I think that slots in there just right, and that will have real strong hold because the way that lines up with the chassis, that just literally locks in there. The position of it's just right. So yeah, this will be a petrol-powered custom Mega Blaster, which I just think is very cool. Which shouldn't work, but it's Orks, so it works. What else we got going on this? Cool V8 conversion. Yeah, the engine blocks out of the truck. There's just so many cool things you can do with these. The truck kit is definitely one of the most versatile kits. A bike or a motorbike chain connected between engine and gun could be effective. Right. Yeah, I'm not too good at this multitasking. I've done a bit. I've done probably more than I thought I would actually coming in to do this video. So the engine is just ready to glue now. I think I've just got to file off that little bit there. I'll snip that little bit off that usually joins it in there. File that down a bit. So what other videos have I got? I've got the 2 videos I told you about earlier that I'm going to be coming out with, the unboxing and reviewing and building the 2 new tabletop scenic sets. Also, next episode of 2 Bald Knobs we'll be doing probably within the next week. And we're doing a big Q&A. So on the 2 Bald Knobs Facebook page, you can ask your questions there, or you can head on over to Skarner's channel. And on our recent episode of 2 Bald Knobs, if you haven't seen that already, go and watch that one. We discuss on that our experiences with our first games and talk about the new kits. It's quite good if you want to listen to us ramble on and chat. But yeah, on our next episode, we're going to be doing a big Q&A, so you can ask us anything. Hey, Spectre's in here. Finally made it. Have you been in the same situation as me, mate, getting kids to bed and whatnot, or working? I am currently off work for a little while, which is lovely. I need to get that bit off as well. That bit doesn't look right. It's going to stop it attaching properly. This is where blue tack's your best friend. You can kind of blue tack cut the bits off, blue tack it all together, see if it just kind of makes sense. But then when you come to gluing it, you realise there's all little bits that just don't quite fit right. And like even now I'm sort of seeing that I'm going to have to I'm going to have to file all those rivets off because they're stopping the engine just kind of sitting right on there. So I have to go through and clip these little rivets off because they're just making it not sit flush on the chassis as I want it to. Okay, let's see how that goes now. Yep, I'd say that is just about perfect then. Alright, clean those bits up. Yeah, this is why I appreciate it, guys. Sorry if I'm going a bit quiet at times because I'm focused. This is why I'm just not very good at multitasking. Trying to chat to you guys and build at the same time. But there's still 35 in you. Kids to bed. Wow, it is 3:30 p.m. here in Texas. Yeah, it's currently, I don't know what the time is here at the moment. It'll be about 9:30 at night here. I'm looking at the timer actually. I've been going for about 1 hour and 10 minutes, and I usually make these live videos about 1 hour long. But I'll just finish this part of the build so that at the end of this video I'll kind of have something to show for it. And probably after switching off the live stream I'll probably continue to work on it. Right, I think we're good to go there now. So see where it's going to glue along that bit and that bit. Okay. The good thing about this glue as well, it's so thin, you can just sort of put the bits together and then glue over the joins a little bit, and it's so thin it will seep in there. And also where it's so thin, if you do sort of splodge it over other bits, it's not going to be noticeable because it doesn't blob up like the thick stuff does, which does sometimes spoil the look of your models somewhat. But this thin stuff's great. Very quick drying though. You can't afford to sort of hang about with it. There we go. Let's gluing that on there. Try and line it up. I know it's Orky and everything doesn't have to be lined up perfectly, but I do like it to at least look functional. And these are bad moon mechs as well. They do take a bit of pride in what they build. There we go. There we go. And then still haven't quite got the wheels decided yet. It's just the way that armor plate joins on. I want to. Let's move the camera down so you can see what I'm up to here. Move all my junk out of the way a little bit, because I appreciate I'm describing to you guys what I'm doing poorly. There we go. So yes, there it is there, like that. Get more flashes if it don't fit proper. And then this is the bit that's kind of, I keep changing my mind over. Just sort of connect that like so. But I'm not happy with that. I'm happy with the way that plate joins on, and I'm happy with the position of the wheels. But the two of them together I'm not happy with, because that doesn't look right. The wheels need to be, if I turn them over, and do that, as you can see, that looks so much better, because it looks like the wheels are designed to go in that archway. Slightly less elevated though, but I think that is what I'm going to go with, because I think that actually looks very cool. So I'll probably go with that. I did prefer it, turn the arch over, like higher elevation on it, but actually I think doing it like that will look quite cool. So yeah, there we go. So that's the bits I've got to sort of glue on now and get sorted. There we go. So what do you think, guys? Do you think the Mek Gunz are looking good? I think they're coming along quite nicely myself. And it's great fun. So I think these are going to be quite proud of these once I've done them. Have something a bit more personalised and individual. But guys, I think there is no such thing as too much. Yeah, guns are good. Thank you guys, they look great. Well, I'm going to continue working on this project. And I'm going to bring this video to a close now. You guys continue working on all your projects. Feel free to message me, comment, let me know what you're working on. Thank you, Big Mek. Thank you, mate. File the bits at the bottom of the back down to get the barrel up. Good advice. I may well do that because they're just kind of left at the moment. Not sure what to do with them. That's great advice, actually. I think you may have touched on something good there. But thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you very soon on the next video. This is 6 Plus Stevo, signing out.